Hello, my name is Tony. I like badass films with badass characters who do badass things in badass ways, which is why I really like the outfit. It's badass. Falling somewhere in the middle of a triangle formed by Borman's Point Blank, Peckinpah's The Getaway, and Ritchie's Prime Cut, it's the unsung and critically unloved relative of those three. The outfit is based on the book of the same name by Richard Stark. Stark was one of 18 or more pseudonyms under which the author Donald E. Westlake published novels. He was a bit prolific, to say the least. The anti-hero centre of the Stark novels is the relentless career criminal Parker. Westlake always stipulated that in any films of the Parker books, he was not to be called Parker. He only wanted the name used in a franchise film series featuring the Parker character. He fancied there could be a James Bond type cycle. Seems he fancied wrong. Therefore, Lee Marvin in Point Blank 1967 was called Walker. In The Split 1968, Jim Brown's character was called McClane. Robert Duvall in The Outfit 1973 is Macklin. Peter Coyote in Slayground 1983 named Stone. Mel Gibson in Payback 1999, a remake of Point Blank, was monikered Porter. When Westlake died in 2008, his proviso died with him. So in the Jason Statham action flick Parker 2014, he's called Parker. Ain't life grand? John Flynn, who wrote and directed The Outfit, had been first assistant director on The Great Escape and went on to direct Rollin' Thunder, possibly the classiest exploitation flick ever. That and The Outfit represents his best work. He'd always been a fan of the Parker novels, and that certainly shows in the care and thought he exercises in his screen adaptation. It goes like this. A priest and a cab driver pull up to a house in the sticks. No, it's not the lead-in for a joke, it's the opening moments of the film. They find the owner out back doing some yard work whilst his chained dog barks incessantly. They aim their pistols, shoot him dead, and leave. Earl Macklin, Robert Duvall, is released from prison where he's been incarcerated following a parole violation. Picked up by his girlfriend Bet, Karen Black, he is given the news that his brother Eddie has been murdered. At a motel, Bet breaks down and confesses to Earl that under pressure, tortured with lit cigarettes and the threat of facial disfigurement by way of a straight razor by middle management mobster Mena, Timothy Carey, she sold out the trio. Someone is coming to the motel to take care of Earl. Initially angry, Earl quickly composes himself into a pragmatic and philosophical frame of mind, and when the gunman bursts into their darkened room, shatters a glass in his face and tortures him for information. Gives him a nice little side part in with a bullet to loosen his tongue. He lets the guy live after forcing him to phone his contact and tell him that he successfully killed his mark. Then he sends him on his way with a message for the mob and the sagely advice,
die someplace else.
Earl's next move is to gatecrash a poker game in a hotel where Mena is playing. Mena tells him that Earl, Eddie and their compatriot Cody, Joe Don Baker, hit a bank that was a front for a mob money laundering caper, and the mob are seeking payback. Earl robs the game and shoots Mena through the hand for torturing Bet. He tells him the outfit owes him $250,000 for his trouble, and until he is paid, will continue to rip off their operations as a cash bonus. Cody is already on alert as the two hitters who killed Eddie turned up at his roadside diner, dissuaded from carrying out their contract when Cody brings the presence of the local sheriff to their attention. He and Earl partner up and begin systematically hitting mob operations with Bet acting as their getaway driver. Ice-cold mob boss Mailer, Robert Ryan, wants the two men dead and insists it's Mena's problem to sort out. It becomes more Mailer's problem when Earl and Cody accost him at a horse auction he is attending with his wife Rita, Joanna Cassidy. He agrees to pay the money if Earl and Cody cease knocking off his businesses. The handover is going to be a trap as Mailer is furious at the sheer audacity of the two men in exposing his vulnerability. At the bogus trade in a city church and hostel for the homeless, Earl soon figures they've been duped, sets off the fire alarm, and he and Cody shoot their way out. Mena sets up an ambush on a stretch of highway with two mobsters disguised as traffic cops. Cody pulls over and a furious gunfight ensues, in which all the outfit shooters, including Mena, are killed, as well as Bet, who has taken an unfortunate stray bullet. In retaliation, they decide to find a way into Mailer's heavily guarded house and kill him. Bypassing security after hijacking a mob patrol car and driving through the gates, they plant a bomb and stealthily search for Mailer. Mailer gets lucky and catches sight of Cody holding a gun on Rita in a bathroom mirror. He shoots Cody in the gut, but is himself shot in the chest by Earl, and Cody puts one in his back for good measure. The bomb goes off and sets the house on fire when emergency services respond blonde, Earl, disguised as a paramedic, helps the wounded Cody into an ambulance, and the two men drive away laughing like they haven't got a care in the world.
The good guys always win.
If proof is needed of Flynn's respect and affection for classic Hollywood noir movies, just scan the supporting cast list. It is peppered with actors who appeared in some of the standouts of the genre. People like Elisha Cook Jr., Emil Mayer, Roy Roberts, Roy Jensen, Marie Windsor, and Jane Greer. If you know the films, you'll know the names. The outfit is like a film noir train spotter's paradise. What's great is most of them only have brief appearances, yet it all seems perfectly natural and unforced, like they belong there, completely integrated into this shadowy, roughshod world. Never laboured or gimmicky, just reinforcing of the type of terrain you're traversing herein. A lovely touch. The main cast list is also a thing of great beauty. Duvall is terrific, radiating cool confidence and casual menace with convincing poise. He's equally matched by Joe Don Baker, and the on-screen chemistry between the two, their absolute commitment to each other, results in a wholly believable partnership. What leaves a lasting impression is the way they approach their criminal activities as though it's just another day at the office, which for them it seems to be. They set out to do what they do and just do it, at peace in the knowledge that death is an occupational hazard that must be accepted because it's just the way it is. Their resolve to keep going and never back down in pursuit of their goals is an impressive work ethic. The women are atypically attractive and capable performers. Karen Black as Bet is by turns both vulnerable and tough. She mows down two goons with her car in support of Earl and Cody without even pausing to think about it. Just plows the bastards under. Then we see her getting emotionally upset at Earl's indifference to prioritizing her needs and feelings. She loves him, yet is starved of affection because he's far from the demonstrative type. Joanna Cassidy in her debut role, one of the most physically appealing actresses of the 70s and a rare talent, as her performance as a photojournalist in Under Fire showcased later, is Mailer's glamorous wife. She's an upmarket mirror image of Bet taken from the other side of the tracks, only Mailer treats her even worse than Earl treats Bet, with patriarchal hostility and abusive dominance. He sees her as a possession. Earl at least perceives Bet as a person, one he understands to some extent and forgives for almost getting him killed. When Mailer tells Earl at the horse auction his actions, if things had kicked off, put Rita at risk, he picks up on Mailer's attitude and sense of ownership, his concern primarily that something belonging to him might get damaged. His male ego is his weakness. Earl's response indicates that he has something of a different moral perspective and views women differently.
Rita might have got hurt.
She'd have been okay, but you wouldn't have.
Then there's Cherie North, the trampy wife of Buck, Bill McKinney, thick-headed brother of Cherney, Richard Jekyll, a mechanic and supplier of hot motors. Earl and Cody visit Cherney's Hicksville home and workshop to source a replacement car. When Earl and Cherney make a trip to fetch the new vehicle, Buck's wife propositions Cody, who politely turns her down. Then she accuses him of trying to rape her, which incenses Buck, resulting in Earl beating him unconscious. Now this detour is something of a distraction that serves little narrative purpose in an otherwise uncomplicated, straight-shooting, unpretentious crime flick. I was never entirely sure why it was there, but it doesn't really matter, because it does provide Cherie North with two opportunities. One, to deliver the closest thing to a film noir dame with alley cat morals and dangerous substance invisibly stamped on her, and two, to demonstrate her talent for portraying trashy, sexually promiscuous, bottle-blonde bitches in the most enticing of ways. I don't think I'd have had Cody's willpower, to be honest, not with that almost transparent wet robe she's almost wearing. I'm a sucker for these early 70s ladies. They look like real flesh and blood women, which I think is always a good thing. Flynn directs with hard-nosed style and brute efficiency, his action scenes bristling with frantic realism. There is no near superhuman dodging of bullets here, no backflipping acrobatics. You get shot, you bleed, you fall over and you die. It's that sort of vibe pretty much throughout. Jerry Fielding scores with a workmanlike but entirely simpatico soundtrack. I have a feeling, or maybe I read it somewhere, that his unused score for Peckinpah's The Getaway was the basis. Cinematography by Eastwood's go-to lensman, Bruce Surtees, was always grainy looking, with toned-down subdued colours, of the low grey sky and muscular shadow school, and the Blu-ray version retains much of that aesthetic. It's not a high-gloss, high-res, high-glamour product, so it's ideally befitting of the subject matter. The outfit is another reminder to me, like I need one, of how skillfully and passionately they made good films back then. It's lean, powerful, snappy, and slicker than a shark in an aquarium full of oil. You watch it and you feel good for watching it. A shot of visual and sonic endorphins flooding the receptors. I don't see anything coming close to it these days. Like the art of cinema, that connective tissue of genuine shared language has been eradicated by something unnatural, foreign, and fake-assed. Films like The Outfit are the real deal. Or else my name is Griselda Flabbergast, which it ain't. Thank you for your time and attention. Do whatever you want to do. Hit like, don't like, comment, subscribe, be a patron of my Patreon thing, make a financial contribution in a futile attempt to elevate me from abject poverty, and run the heating for 1 minute 30 seconds a day. I'm going out now, but I am coming back. You can depend on it, pilgrims.